Hey fellas, how you doing? It's Johnny. In this video, I want to talk about something I've never spoken about before. It's very relevant to today, getting to meeting women, to overcoming your fears, becoming your authentic self, all of the stuff that you guys are predominantly interested in, the stuff that I talk about, the struggles that we all go through as men or as people, as women. In today's video, I want to talk about the working class mindset. I've never actually spoken about this directly. I've touched on it. Now, of course, I'm going to speak from my own experience. It's going to be from my own perception. Sorry, I'm blocked. And the experiences of friends, because I grew up in a working class, from working class background. I grew up on a council estate. Sorry, if somebody doesn't want me to do this video, this means I have to do it. My nose is blocked. So one of the things that came to mind, I think it was on a song, it might have been Dizzy Rascal or I Plan B Someone, council state of mind. So it just came to my head. It was very relevant. So the reason I want to talk about the working class environment is because I learned so much from it, and I want to talk about the positive things I learned, and I'm going to speak about the negative things I learned. Let's start with the negatives and get them out of the way. The negatives were insecurity, fear, low self-esteem, a feeling of not being entitled, not being able to have a voice, at least in a sense of a voice that is to be respected, to be understood, to be recognized, to be felt. I guess there was a feeling of possibly not enough love. I'm not directing that back at my family, because I got a lot of love from my family. It's nothing to do with my family. It's just the feeling, the environment, the vibe. I remember growing up in this area, in my area, and always feeling afraid, if I'm being honest, and just feeling like, I've kind of felt like, is it just me that feels fear? And then realizing years later, everyone felt fear living in this environment, because it was a dangerous environment. I don't think the beliefs were at their best. People hadn't expanded their consciousness in the best way they could. So stuff like drug dealing, that was the cool thing to do. For example, for us guys now, you guys are on the same wavelength as me. It's cool to go out and improve with women. It's cool to become your authentic self. It's seen as cool to be a strong man, a businessman, an artist, whatever you want to pursue. But these ideas weren't really raised when I was growing up. My dad always said to me that I could be whatever I wanted. My mum said it, but I didn't believe it. I spent most of my time on the council estate of mind, in the parks, the football pitches, in the council estate blocks of flats. I remember coming out of my house and just walking and smelling fear, feeling fear and terror, smelling the cannabis, the residue, the smell of drugs. It was frightening, and just hearing I'm just trying to get it right, give you guys an idea. You probably relate to this if you're from a working class background or a council estate. Just a feeling that at any moment something could go off. There could be a violent fight, the police. So it created anxiety. Stillness didn't exist for me, at least from my perception. And even the people that were at the top of the tree, in the sense of the working class hierarchy, the drug dealers, the bad boys, the guys who had or were perceived to be the strong, they were very fearful. Obviously, that's why they bullied people. They had to maintain that. They were always alert. So again, there was never a sense of stillness and peace. Now, I'm not saying every single person from working class background is not still and peaceful, because I'm from working class and now I'm still and peaceful. Just at that particular time, and having conversations with people, and having friends from different backgrounds, having friends that were from the Caribbean, Jamaica, that were black, having Arabic friends, Egyptian friends, Moroccan friends, having English friends, Irish friends, same really, different colours, different religions, but everyone is from the same ideas. And there was a feeling of, and if I offend anyone, I'm really sorry, I'm just being honest, there was a feeling of low self-esteem, that we're not enough. And that would be projected onto things like, it would come out in conversations, it would probably come out of my mouth at the time, because I wasn't as expanded as I am now, those posh people, they're different to us, or those, for example, the government, they're against us. There was a feeling that it's just like what Jeff said, what my mentor said, and Jeff's one of the people that really inspired me to make this video, to speak about it more, because again, sorry, I've gone off topic here. He came from the working class background and just broke out of that, and that's really what I'm here to do today. I want to be a voice for the working class background. I want to show that we can achieve our dreams. We can have a strong voice. I've got a strong voice now, and it's nothing to do with me saying I'm over here, you're over here, because quite frankly, I don't want to believe in a class divide, and I don't believe in it. I don't believe in all this rubbish, because this is what got me into this mess in the first place, believing that this was real when it wasn't. The funny thing was, growing up in school, my first friends were black. I had a friend who was very well spoken, he was posh, so to speak. So realistically, it was never my ideas, it wasn't me, it wasn't my authentic self. It was ideas that were placed upon me, and I was too afraid to challenge those ideas, and I projected those ideas into my personality, my conversations, and it just held me back for years. I remember thinking that I wouldn't be able to get an attractive woman, and that's not to say that the girls around the council estate weren't attractive, because there were many beautiful girls, but I didn't have the confidence to speak to them, and they always seemed to go out with the drug dealer, or the top dog, so to speak. And I was never quite at that level, although I had a reputation at a particular time for being quite violent, and people were, they were very aware of me. But it was hard to sustain that. It was very tiring, and I just didn't want to be violent. I was just tired of it. And yeah, there was just a feeling of pain, just seeing the kids. Their body language, low self-esteem, head down, don't really make eye contact. Everyone is awkward. Everyone don't trust each other. Just no way to live. I just think it just felt like God wasn't present. I used to sometimes pray to God and say, why isn't he helping out? What's going on? That's just the way I was looking at it at the time. And it upset me. It did upset me, because I was proud of where I come from, but I was also disturbed by some of the lack of belief that was around. It was in the air. But it was and then I realized the other day, I'm thinking about it, I was like, I could never have made it. I could never have achieved the things I have. I didn't come from a working class background. I'm really proud of it. So the very thing that frightened me, the very thing that I was ashamed of, the very thing that I, to be honest, fucking hated at the time, has helped me to be the man I am. It's helped me to help people and reach out. And it's actually helped me to reach out to people from all different backgrounds and different races. So it taught me so much. It was a great teacher to me, and it taught me a lot about fear. It taught me a lot about love. It taught me exactly the way I don't want to live. It inspired me. Floyd inspired me. Floyd was from the working class background. Floyd was another free thinker. Although he was in the working class, he was in it, but it was not of it. So there's a saying, we can be in the world, but not of the world. And I feel I was the same. I feel many of my friends were. I always felt like I didn't know how to identify myself. Like, I wasn't middle class, I wasn't upper class, I wasn't working class. I was always feeling like, what the fuck am I? Where do I belong? And where I belong is where I am now, with God, my authentic self. So it doesn't matter, working class, middle class. I've got friends from all different backgrounds. I love it. And it all reflects different parts in me. So I want to inspire anyone that's from a working class background. And something that comes to mind is a friend of mine that I met at a seminar. I was speaking to a friend of mine, a guy, inspiring, I was going to say kid, he's a man. His name's Frank. And I had a conversation with him for about half an hour after the seminar. It was mental, because when I was speaking to him, I felt like I was speaking to my old self and my new self, because he's growing, because he's from the same background as me. He's a black guy. And I felt like I was speaking to Floyd. It was mental, and I think he felt the same way, because he said to me he feels that he knows me, and I understood what he meant. There was an understanding we had, and we'd met the first time we were watching him on YouTube, and I felt a lot of inspiration from him and a lot of frustration. That's how I felt at the time when I was his age. And I want to use him as an example, a positive example, and myself and others, that it doesn't matter where you come from. It's what Les Brown said, it's where you're going in life. It's having the courage and the confidence to look at your pain and your shame, and to divert from that where you want to go to. And there's so many examples. There's another example comes to mind, someone who's really inspired me. I've never spoken about him, I've never felt the need, but a boxer called Ashley Fearfane, who is now going to be fighting Adrian Broner. Now, I went to the same, I don't know him that well, but he knows my face. He might not know me by name, doesn't matter. This is I'm being grateful to him. He was in my school. He signed under Floyd Mayweather. He's from the working class background. He's shown that the impossible is possible. He is another example. Johnny Berba is an example of that. Someone that broke out of the class system and is living a dream, doing the job I want to do, and getting to interact and connect with every different background. I hated the limitation. I hated the feeling I can't go to a restaurant because it's too posh. I'm not allowed in it. I fucking hated that. That wasn't true. And I can't blame a person, because the working class background is just like the Matrix. It's not one given person to blame. It's a belief system, and the illusion is so real that people believe it. And the whole benefit system, how it's portrayed on the TV, the working class people, they're lazy. That's not completely true. The working class people, one of the most hardest working people I've ever seen. My dad fucking broke his back every single week, coming home from hard manual work. My mum broke her back working hard. My nan, my aunties, my cousins, hard working family. That was on to me. But the thing that the lack of self-worth comes from feeling that we don't have the same abilities when we do, because the abilities and everything we need to access are in our thinking. Once we change the way we think, we no longer are subdued or bounded by the barriers of the working class and the middle class or the upper class, or this people over here, celebrities. I don't mean to be arrogant when I say this, I say it in a kind way. I am a celebrity. I never wanted to be a celebrity. I've got no fucking interest in being a celebrity and being in magazines, but I'm just making a fine example that I was a nobody from a council estate, and now I teach people all around the world. So I'm proof that I can do it. There's people like Jeff Thompson that have done it. He's won a BAFTA award. He's broken out of that mindset. Ashley Fearfane's fighting for a world championship. He's a successful boxer. Another person that was told that he could never make it, he didn't have the skills, he didn't have the promotional team, he didn't have the marketing, he proved it wrong. So if he can do it, I can do it, Jeff can do it. There's so many other, how many footballers in the Premiership? You guys can probably name more than me. Ricky Hatton from a working class background. Bernard Hopkins from America, from a troubled past. This is inspiring. This shows that anything is possible with the right belief system and putting in the hard work. And people ask me all the time, can you make a video about people who inspired you? The fucking people in the working class background inspire me the most. Of course, I've got people like, I love Alan Watts. Obviously, Alan Watts is from upper class, so I'm inspired by all the classes, but I want to go past this class divide, and there's no barriers for me. These barriers are invisible. My work, my teaching, my videos defy class barrier, race, culture. It goes beyond that. It goes straight into love. It speaks to women, it speaks to kids, it speaks to troubled men, it speaks to the businessman, it speaks to the working man, it speaks to the builder, it speaks to the painter, it speaks to the architect, it speaks to the guy on job seekers allowance, it speaks to the man that does the 9 to 5, it speaks to the guy that was abused, it speaks to the guy that was physically abused, it speaks to the guy that was sexually abused. My work speaks to everyone, anyone that's in pain and wants help. That's what it does. I'm not doing all of it, I take a lot of the credit. I'm doing God's work. So difficult for me to do this video, but needed to do it, needed to express this out. This will help people. I'm speaking to myself as well. Years of frustration. I want to say that there's no excuses. So it's not me complaining. I don't blame David Cameron. I don't blame the government. David Cameron's never physically held me down on the floor and pinned me down and stopped me from approaching women on the street. Although the police did stop me once and try and say, what are you doing? And I told them, and they wanted to take my course. That's a joke, but there's truth. That was the truth. So we have to change our mindset to get into different rooms. That's what Jeff was saying. We have to become the key maker. That's what he said, and I'm taking some of his words. It was inspiring. And I remember what Ashley said. He said simple things. He said hard work and dedication. He just said working. And I remember I trained in the gym right next to him in All Stars. I was an amateur. And I just look at him thinking, this guy's only small. He's a small statue, but he's so fucking hard working. He may be small in height, but he's massive in spirit. And that's what I had, a warrior spirit. Of course I was afraid, I was nervous, I was always frightened, but I was courageous, and that's what made a difference. So it is possible. It doesn't matter from a council estate or from, you know, my family only make this amount of threshold a year. It makes no difference. Makes no difference. You know, I sat with my mum the other day and I told her,